Let's just throw the dice down and see if it works. And I gave my Schumacher racing job in the fab shop, which is an ideal job for anybody who likes building stuff. You get to build 330-mile-an-hour race cars, and you have big budgets, and you get to do all this stuff, and you get to see it on TV. It's a really fun job. And I was like, either I'm the stupidest person alive, quitting an awesome job,
or I'm brilliant.
Which I don't know about that.
Navigate your leadership journey at the FMA annual meeting, February 27th to the 29th in Clearwater, Florida. At this premier event, you'll connect with top leaders in the fabrication industry to share ideas, collaborate to solve business challenges, and build strategic relationships. Chart your course for success in 2024 and beyond at the FMA annual meeting. Find all the details at fmamfg.org.
I'm Dan Davis with Fabricator Magazine, and this is my host for today, Josh Welton.
Hello.
You might know him from his contributions to The Fabricator and Fabricator.com, as well as his many online endeavors. Today's guest is Tom Patsis of Cold Heart Art. Josh knows him pretty well, and when did you first cross paths with him?
We crossed paths online a little bit, and knew right away we hated each other. And then they put us together. Bill Elverman, who in that time worked in marketing for Miller, was like, hey, you want to come do an interview? I can't remember at first if it was like he was going to interview us, and then we got there and we're like, we'll just talk to each other. And thought he was going to cut it down to like a 2-minute bit, and we just talked 15 minutes stream of consciousness, and he put the whole thing online. It was he's hilarious. We're able to bounce things off each other, and he's a high energy dude, no filter. To see where he came from with his art to where he's at now, the journey, and then how he took the jump going, doing it part-time and then getting into just doing art full-time is really something that I've admired.
Yeah, and something we didn't cover early in the interview was that he actually won that Metal Masters contest that's now available on Netflix if you haven't seen it.
A controversial victory, but...
So with that in mind, with the repartee that you have with our guests, I'm going to let you sit in this seat.
Sounds good.
There you go.
The ship is sinking.
All right, buckle up and enjoy this episode with Tom Patsis.
Now available from FMA are 2 comprehensive industry-related surveys for 2023. The Salary, Wage, and Benefit Survey for intel to help company owners and HR managers, as well as the Financial Ratios and Operational Benchmarking Survey for crucial business performance data. Visit fmamfg.org to download both annual surveys. And now, back to the episode.
Welcome back to the Fabricator Podcast. I'm Dan Davis. Today we have Tom Patsis of Cold Heart Art. That's right?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, I have a tendency to mess that up. And then Josh Welton, he's been here before. We're doing this live at FABTECH.
Hell yeah.
Tom actually helped us out early on in the kind of creation of the Fabricator Podcast, and what we call the lost episode.
Yeah, the test
never
run
aired
at a MSC show in Novi.
Just a coincidence that Tom was on it, that it disappeared, never to see the light of day.
It's probably best for everybody.
It probably is.
Yeah. I see why you didn't show up.
Were you both there?
That's a good question.
No.
I was supposed to moderate it. I was supposed to be like the host or something, and then I got called for work out to Dugway, Utah, which is like Area 52. And I mean, I was basically dissecting aliens for work, and I just can't really talk about too many of the details, but
you just admitted to dissecting an alien. That is the detail.
Like space aliens?
I mean, who hasn't dissected an alien?
We're accepting that now?
Yeah, that's just fact now. Like,
so literally, just today, as we're taping this, there's a press conference in Mexico where they actually rolled out a body of supposedly an alien.
Yeah,
some Mexican morgue.
I mean,
kid you not. Look it up on the Twitter machine. It's there.
I don't even think it's a question anymore. Like, aliens are real, right? Or
I'm looking at one right now. I mean, I'm looking at him.
Oh yeah, mummified alien corpse.
See?
I'm not a corpse yet. Oh, you're
We
talking
just took a
about.
devious
There
turn
you
right
go.
in like minute one.
ABC 7. I mean, that's
Sorry,
a
Tom. We're
legitimate
gonna have to
news
switch
source.
gears here. We're
Who
gonna talk
hasn't
about-
strangled an alien to death after they crash land in your backyard?
It kind of looks like those JFK autopsy photos.
That's definitely
to me.
not fake.
I was gonna say that.
That doctor looks legitimate.
Seriously, if they're that small, I'm not afraid of them.
Somebody put
That's
on
a
Twitter.
giant
Somebody
on
put
their-
on Twitter. He goes, "If that's the aliens, good luck trying to tackle Derrick Henry."
Are you sure that's not like just like an old ET statue that someone
I
buried?
don't know.
No, that's
I
metal.
think
That's
That's
somebody's
paper
hard art.
mache.
I'm,
That's paper
I'm
mache.
talking to two metal artists right now. I'd like to commission a statue of this mummified alien.
I mean, look how legit it is. I mean, it's got the flag up and
Man, I see cookies. I see everything.
Listen, just because you set up cameras and mics in a background doesn't mean it's legit. Look at us.
They had two cameras
doesn't?
there.
Yeah.
I mean, the news was talking about it, like Channel 7.
Yeah, it's legit, man.
Okay.
Don't rain on my
So
parade
we're at a,
right
we're
now.
at a fabricating show here, right?
You could
Yeah, Tom's
fabricate.
trying to rein us in now.
We're trying to, some kind of fabrication.
You know, it's bad when Tom's doing the
Yeah.
reining in.
So
Yeah.
there's metal and welding going on somewhere.
Yeah.
right?
So what have you been up to lately, Tom, in your shop in
a
Indianapolis?
A lot of trophies.
Lot
I've
of
turned into a
trophies.
trophy business, which is not bad. I get to build and weld stuff, but it's one of those accidental blessings, I guess. Because, art sells. You know about selling
Yeah.
art. Sometimes it's tricky, but trophies have just snowballed. Like when I leave here tonight, because we'll drive back to Indianapolis, I have 60-something trophies to build in, I don't know, 5-6 days. And
Wow.
it sounds like a lot, but it's not going to be terrible. But then after that, I still have a bunch of other trophies because we're going to go on vacation finally and go to Florida for a week with my wife, Amanda, and Luna and stuff. So we're actually going to not weld for one day. It's going to be quite
That's
nice.
weird.
Not that welding's terrible, but there's days you
It's
don't.
nice to have a break.
Yeah, a little
every
bit.
now and then.
So,
No, every time I mean, back in the day, we would kind of like, we were texting each other at 3 a.m, still making stuff.
Yep.
And I've kind of gotten busy doing other things, and you went full time into your own business. And it's been awesome to watch you grow that. And I have a lot of admiration for what you've done. How many, just like rough guess, unless Amanda's totally kept track of it, how many trophies do you think you've done?
that's a good. I mean, it's in the thousands now. Obviously,
Oh, easily.
I honestly don't. I'm at that point now that I'm 41 and not young.
That's pretty
Instantly,
old.
my memory has I remember building that for that guy's name. You remember that guy's name, the first customer. I don't remember anything anymore. So like someone will bring like, hey, I bought this from you like 9 years ago, and you're like, I made that. Like,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
just because you got better at what you do, but going, I don't remember that.
Yep.
And it's going, I don't even do drugs. You know what I'm saying? I don't drink. I don't do anything. I'm not that excited of a person, but I go, I don't remember that at all. And
Duff protests too much.
yeah, I think it's the 5-year-old daughter. That's probably breaking
That'll
me
do it.
down internally. So, yeah, but it's probably got to be 1,000 something plus. I mean, just this year, I probably already made. I mean, I started the year making 35 replica NHRA championship trophies from last year, and that happens every year after you make the first 4 for the winners. And replica trophies are good business because if you do good work,
They'll
they
come
come back
back.
to you next year. And if you do good work, you do the championship trophy to go with the race winning trophies. And then, as NHRA as an example, like I used to work in NHRA as a crew guy on one of the teams trying to get these trophies, and now I get to build them. So that's really cool. But now they trust us with all their specialty events. And it's like, holy crap. So we get
I mean, yeah, you're doing legit large.
yeah, big sanctioning
national-
bodies and
Yeah. How did you coming from that industry help you get a foot in the door as far as like gaining that business?
I think it's because I was in that sport or racing, and you make friends with all the sponsors that are
Yeah.
on the vehicles that you're racing with, and you become, like this, you just become kind of that intimate, get to meet them and know people, know their families, and
Yeah.
then you text them, and then social media helps. And then it snowballs into, hey, I hear you're doing this metal art thing and not
Yep.
working. Oh, would you like to do ours? Or do you need a sponsor, or could use our product because of social media? Again, it's always social media and marketing. So it's all kind of just it is very organic and just natural. And I'm a people person, so
It's a good space for you. I even I was just talking to Amanda about your shirts. Like that's obviously motorsports.
Yes.
Inspired.
Yeah.
And like not a lot of people can pull it off, but you can, and the people who like the 1 or 2 people who like you can also do that. I Tom and I have a love-hate relationship.
Yes, we do.
So who did the artwork for the logo?
There's a place in across the street from me in Brownsburg called 66 Graphics, and they do a lot of the motorsports uniforms and shirts and stuff like that.
They're
Obviously,
right next to you, right?
I'm looking out our window into their front window. So
That's cool.
In Brownsburg, you have a lot of vendors and supplies. So like my metal is at SRI. I mean, obviously all this stuff's on my shirt.
Yeah.
So SRI has all my steel, and then obviously Miller and all the people that we deal with. A lot of them are located in our area, and some are outside, like up in
And the
Appleton.
Cold Art logo, was that something they did or you did?
No, that's actually something I had a buddy draw in motorsports. He's a photographer.
Yeah.
Taco Patterson. So he's a guy that just kind of does graphics on the side. And and I said, draw me a circle logo, because you can put a circle anywhere.
Right.
If it's a square, it doesn't always fit, and you have to put it straight. Circle, you can put on an angle. It just looks cool. So, and I wanted the lightning holes, and it looks like a pair of dial calipers.
Yeah.
So it has like an inspiring thing. And the colors, obviously I like blue, but my favorite driver as a kid was Greg Moore. And so he was an IndyCar driver, and he had the player-sponsored Foresight IndyCar, and it was dark blue, light blue, and white. So I go, I'm going to put that in there because that just looks cool, and I like blue anyway. And then it just corresponds with FERD and Miller, and, it just works out. I like color combos that match. So, it
is
red,
like,
white, and blue.
everything is race-inspired.
It's a little unique amongst all the other logoed polos
It definitely,
and
when
t-shirts.
you see it on a race car, because blue is a happy color, it definitely stands out.
So what size do your trophies range typically?
What's your budget? That's basically.
You're asking the right guy.
I always start. I go, "What's your budget? When's your due date? Do you have any graphics and stuff like that? And do you have a design?" And usually, I mean, it's just like anything. When you want to give them the best. And this is one thing that I've had to explain to some people when you get marketing companies, and I don't want to say this. I've dealt with this a couple of times where I sometimes tell them, I go, I'm on your side. Like, don't think of me as somebody on the other side that you have to compete with, because I'm like, I want to give you the best that you want.
Absolutely.
Like, if you want this, I want it to match your brand. I want it to give you everything you want. So don't think of me as the guy that you're arguing with. I'm going, I may sound like I'm arguing, but I'm just trying to get all the information out of you so I can, be up at 3 o'clock in the morning building this, not having to bother you.
Right.
So remember, I'm on your side.
And then there's no miscommunication, because there's often that like they assume something, you assume something, and you're getting it all sorted out right from the beginning.
Yep.
How did you rolling into using different materials for your trophies? Like, you've used a bunch of different stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a welder and I make stuff of steel, but I gotten into a different color acrylics because you can light up that stuff. I'm as a trophy builder, God, it's weird saying that. I like to make my stuff better than my old stuff, and I like to make my stuff better than other people's stuff. I mean, it's a competitive side. Like, if you and me had a running race to that door, I would shove you out of the way. Even if you'd beat me, I'd still want to find a way to win. So same with trophies. I'm not here to make you faster. I'm just here to make my stuff known that it's there.
Absolutely.
So, basically,
it stands out. The pieces are incredible.
I mean, I know metal art isn't really a competition like with trophies and stuff, but to me it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you and me build something, I want to build it better. I want people to go, man, look at that, and that's just, I can't turn that off sometimes. So sometimes it drives my wife crazy and things, but I mean, it's one of those things.
I always feel like that. Every piece I do, I'm trying to just be better than the last piece I did. You're kind of, at some point you start competing with yourself, because everyone kind of develops their own style. So once you find that language, you found that language for your work. People look at it and they know that you did it. It's yours. Like, my buddy Max Grundy used to tell me, like, art is about you're creating your own language. And then if somebody comes on after that, everyone knows they're speaking your language. Like, they might be doing really well at it, but it's your language that they took. I think once you develop that style, you're almost then competing with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously, you got another person making trophies, you want to kick his ass.
Yep.
But ultimately, I think to me anyways, it seems like that you want the bar to be set by yourself, and then just keep pushing it up and up and up.
Yeah, you really, honestly, I mean, with social media, you can go follow other people that probably do similar stuff. And I do follow a lot of people, but I try my hardest not to get worked up about it, because sometimes you see stuff, and I won't say people copy you, but you go, and I had a buddy that works at Hendrick, and he tells me,
a thin line between inspiration and theft.
Yeah, just go, it's okay. It's okay. Because I go, now he's got to do it again and again and again and again. So he told me, don't get bitter, just get better. And it's a simple thing, and sometimes it's like, dang, he's old and wise, and okay, I need to listen to him, and it makes sense. Because someday what you and me say may inspire younger people to do the same thing. So that's how we all get better. Is then somebody 30 years from now is going to be just blowing us out of the water, going, "Hey, that's cool, man! Like, hey, you inspired me." And I go,
Yeah.
that's a real compliment.
That's the best feeling in the world when you see, like, after, I mean, I'm older than you, but we've been doing this for a while in this space, when it kind of started with us. Like, before, there was a lot of like some old guy in his garage would be making stuff, but it was like really simple to a pattern, and he'd sell like, here's bike number 703, and if you want bike 703, and the websites were really boring. And like with us, our whole art career has been online, so you can go back and see where we started to where we are now. And that, like, it just, there wasn't a space for that then, and now there's so many really incredible people in it. And I used to always get like, how do you make your tires? How do you make your wheels? I'm sure you get the same thing. And it's like, I make them a bunch of different ways, and I'm not going to tell you how to make yours, because you need to discover your style.
Absolutely.
And two people at the same time sort of did that, and I give them the same answer, and they were both pissed. And then I went and looked at their stuff like months later, and they came up with a way to do it different than how I did it, and now it was theirs. They developed it. They came up with that idea. And it's 100%, I inspired them, but they had to do it how they could do it.
I feel like that's the thing. My wife knows. She goes, look at this over here, and I go, it's all good, because I didn't tell him how to do it. He figured it out himself. And I said, no one told me how to do when I make certain things that makes me happy to make. That's what makes your art separate from someone else's. And I go, I'm not going to tell you, not because I'm an a-hole, but because no one told me, and I figured it out, and I've mastered it in my way. You need to do the same thing, so you come up with your own style.
You think that's made y'all better welders?
100%.
Yeah.
I think I hate to say Instagram, social media, but I think it's made younger people not just intrigued in welding, but it's made them better, because they don't see their uncle, who maybe, like you said, welds once a month, going, hey, that looks really cool, and he's fixing his like mini bike or something, and it looks like crap. He goes, oh, that's that what it's supposed to look like? Now you see all these amazing welders, and you go, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. So it gives you that instant, like, I know I need to be here if I really want to tell people I'm a good welder. So social media is really good for that.
Into the 2000s, where there wasn't really social media. There was, but it was in infancy. You had message boards. And you go
GeoCities.
all to the different message boards, and it would be the same two guys posting pictures of welds that were awesome. And it's like, this is really cool, but like everyone else, some people are saying, oh, machine did that or this and that. But it was like, I can't even, England was one of them, and there was another one. And it was just like two guys on all the different message boards posting about these welds that they did. And now I think people were doing that kind of thing, but it's really easy to get stuck in a niche in this industry. And you've worked, I have somebody say, I've done this for 40 years and what you're doing is impossible. It's like, you've done what you do for 40 years in a little isolated shop. Like, there's this big world out there. And that's the thing with social media, is iron sharpens iron. And now you can look at somebody from Israel, from Russia, from the UK, and see what they're doing and bring elements of that into what you do.
Like patchwork. You can have a really pretty quilt, but it's from 19 different things, going, wow, it looks a lot better than just one piece of cloth. You know, so like you said, you get exposed to things that you would never get exposed to. It's also good and bad, because then sometimes you go, man, I'll never be that good. And some people take that and go run back downhill with it. Some people go and become amazing. You're going, wow, I remember when you could even weld, and now how did you do that? And well, I saw this guy, or YouTube videos or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of information. Sometimes there's too much information, but
we're getting people that, because we've done it for so long, who I've had people who are like, hey, I was ready to quit and didn't want to weld anymore, and then didn't realize that there's this whole other, like, just laying patterns on a flat piece of metal. Like, you can create art out of that. And to me, that's the best feeling you can get. But now you've given somebody another option for going forward in their life, that, some, like, Dabs has turned it into, like, he's the master now. Like, he's so good at what he does. And I remember him telling me, he's like, I was just done. And then I saw what you do, and I was like, I gave that a shot. And now he's, the student becomes the master, and he's just taking it to levels that I never would have imagined.
Did either of y'all get tempted to maybe try to do the influencer thing and try to make that a full-time gig?
I didn't. No. I'm sure, like, with Tom running his own business, that's kind of part and parcel. Like
Right.
I
Part
mean,
of the
I'm sorry,
marketing.
I'm saying doing it full time.
Yeah. Like every day, new video. Something.
I was always right from the beginning. I had like rules in my head as far as like I wasn't gonna spam people. I wasn't gonna. I wanted to work with companies that I already use their products.
Right.
But I was in a position where I wasn't making income from that.
Yeah. So it's more of like a community instead of trying to profit from it.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, but when I would find a company, like we both are sponsored by Miller, they're good people. It's almost like a family atmosphere, and they've always treated us really, really well.
Right.
And the same thing with some of the other sponsors I have, and with Tom too, like FastCut, just like blew onto the scene, and Russ is awesome to work with, and basically our mission is just to make stuff that looks cool with their machines, and he's opened up so many possibilities to what we do by just like, hey, I'm going to support you guys. As far as influencer goes, Tom is definitely more of an influencer than I am, because he's got that.
I don't even.
But you don't try.
I don't even like the word influencer.
I don't
for some
even
reason.
like
I feel
it
like it's a
either.
word you use in closed doors.
I love
at
when
some
people like. So
meetings.
I guess they would influencer and they like whisper it.
Yeah.
Like you
now
don't
it's
have
like an influencer, and it's a tagline on. So I
don't see it as a career.
I feel like it's like, I'm at the shop making products,
Right.
and I'm using products that obviously helps me make money,
Yeah.
and they can help you make money too. So it's like, I like the idea of going, I think you get it. If I'm showing you an abrasive, I going, well, obviously I don't like to, I'm the worst salesman with stuff. I go, if
Right.
you don't need it, you don't need it. You know what I'm saying? But this is what you have.
Yeah.
I use it. If you want to use it, cool. If not, I'm like the guy that goes, you know what? I don't think it's for you. Maybe you should try this one or this.
Right.
Or even with my own art, I tell people like, oh, I'm going to spend $10,000. I'm like, for what you're asking, you only need to spend $5,000.
Yeah.
And my theory is, everybody that goes, man, we were under budget on that project, use that guy again. I would rather get $5,000 from you for the next 20 years
Right.
than $10,000 once and you never come
Well, I think
back.
that's at the heart of good
Yeah.
art is authenticity, whether
Yeah.
it be like something created for the internet or something, just
I've
metal
pointed
art.
people to Tom in the past because they asked for a certain thing, and I'm like, you know what? It's not something that I'm really into,
Yeah.
but Tom does this really well. I'll talk to him, and everyone has their kind of space, and I want the people coming in looking for pieces, like send them to the right person. Send them to the person who's going to do the best job of it, unless like there's other parts of that, like maybe you want the challenge, but like I know that Tom excels in this area. I'm gonna push that person to Tom because he's the man.
Yeah. Oh, Dan, you're here. How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
We're not trying to displace you at all. So what do
No, let's go back.
justify
Let's
your
go back.
job, Dan.
Here he goes.
Yeah, how's your day
Here
going?
he goes. This is where the professional comes in.
Yeah.
So, since we were talking about aliens earlier, if you had to design a spaceship, would it be more like the traditional, like, round kind, or like the cigar shape people claim they see?
it would
we
probably-
actually had it. We were talking about an orb shaped
The TikToks.
UFO that one of my coworkers had watched.
Yeah.
So, do you have a preference in
Oh,
alien ship
my
style?
spaceship would be like covered in stickers, and it would be some. It wouldn't even hold aliens. It would hold like half an alien. Because
Or
that's too heavy.
weight
or is
savings.
it going to be like racing inspired with like giant bucket
it'd
seats?
be carbon fiber, and it would be all titanium, and
right.
it'd probably look like the SR-71. It'd probably look like something like that. It would have to be faster than Josh's. Is the only answer I have for you. Josh's would be like
Need
some
more
old.
firepower than mine
No,
too. Then
yours would be like a
Josh's would be
like
big
a
and
Skylark
bulky,
Buick
right?
or something. It'd just be smoking, and just Studebaker, bullet nose, ugly looking thing. Just pop, and the alien be like, "Hey man, I need some more gas." I'd be like, "Oh, you running gas?" I feel like I'm the adult here.
I
for
know.
once. I feel like I'm. So Dan, how's your day? Yeah, I feel like I'm sitting here like I'm
Sure.
interviewing you two guys.
Let me
right
ask
now.
you
do you
this.
believe in aliens?
Well,
I don't know what I believe in anymore. You know what I'm saying? After the last couple of years, I've seen so much crazy. I go, what? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't not believe. I look at it going, you're going to tell me this little baby rock that we're on, and there's bigger rocks out in the world, and then there's more rocks, and there's more. I go,
Dude,
how?
when the images from the new satellite popped that they threw into
Oh yeah,
was it the Webb?
James Webb.
James Webb.
yeah.
Like that's incredible.
You're going to tell us we're the only somewhat intelligent people here? And I mean, you and me. No one else. No one else.
Specifically in this
You
room.
know
Good
there's
choice.
more fab shows in other galaxies.
They're
and
probably
talking
lit
about
too. they're just doing crazy shit.
Yeah, they're
like,
taking-
So think about this. What if there's a parallel reality where you're sitting over there and he's over here? You make the trophies and he's the fabricator personality.
I'd probably jump off a roof.
You know,
I hope there's a lot of gravity on that planet. That's all I got to say.
you can't say that on radio.
We're not on radio.
Well, then we can say anything we want. Then.
It is radio.
Hold on, this is the caller in portion. of the show.
WFAB,
Yeah,
Chicago.
Caller Greg from Elkhart.
Great question. We'll stay on the line. We'll get you a T-shirt.
Yeah, Josh, how do you make those wheels? Don't be a dick. Tell me how you make them.
Do you have a blueprint?
That was
for you?
Dan's real voice too, actually.
Finally, he shows his real
I'm
self.
gonna hang up in it and listen for my answer now.
Yep. He takes helium to bring his voice up.
Hey, Josh, long-time listener, first-time caller. I listen to too much AM radio. I apologize.
Yeah. How long have you been in the space you're in right now?
Are we still talking about space, like on planet Earth?
It's up
appropriate
for interpretation, like
Okay.
your shop space.
That's
Okay,
an awesome
my shop
segue,
space-
by the way.
Well, we've been there for 5 years because the reason I know that is because it's more than 5 years because Amanda was pregnant with Luna in her belly and she was operating the forklift and she wasn't allowed to lift anything clearly, and I had to load everything, and it took us 28 days, and our shop is only maybe an eighth mile behind our shop. It's all on the same property, so we moved from one rental spot to another up front, and it took us 28 days. It's amazing how your
28 days
friends
later.
disappear when it's time to move heavy stuff.
That's how you know you're getting older.
They all were just like, we
We're
got
not
really
taking
we
a
got,
call anymore.
we got good friends, but they're like, we're not moving on like Super Bowl Sunday up to our third floor. We're like all using a forklift. It's radio silent. You know what I'm saying? All my friends are going to hate me now, but it's fine. I'll buy new ones. And the idea that moving from there to there was going to be, it took 28 days, 5 cans of propane on my forklift. And it was just like, we're here. And everybody goes, you're going to need a bigger shop. I'm like, you shut your mouth, because we're never
Not
moving
today,
again.
Satan.
Or I hate to say this, tornado will pick the place up, take it away, and it'll just rain spark plugs and ball bearings for the next like 3 weeks or something after that storm. That's the way I plan to go out. Or a big crater, where I welded on something wrong. At
At what
aliens
point
had to
did you
do.
decide that you needed to be organized?
Haven't. No, haven't figured that out yet.
But you've got like the shelves with the
Yeah.
bolts and the
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not really bad organized. But I mean, it is a lot of blue Lowe's buckets. They're,
I mean, most of my time when I'm doing a sculpture is like trying to find metal.
yeah, that is something. I
And
mean,
stuff.
I'm pretty quick at doing stuff because I do know where everything's at.
Yeah.
And you walk in, and my shop does look like a 12-year-old designed it. There's race car stuff everywhere.
It's
There's
awesome.
models. It looks. I get it. And, I'm 41. And probably should maybe get a sweater or something. But I feel like this is how I'm going to be found dead someday.
You gotta be you.
Just Dickies on.
Did you,
and-
when you moved into your new space, did you try to recreate what you had in the old space, just more space in between?
No, you know how it is when you put stuff where you put it, and then you realize I shouldn't put it there, but you don't have time to change it, and then you get more stuff like a plasma table that takes up a lot of space, and I have this nice Kaiser air compressor, screw compressor. I'm like, yeah, I bought it last year, haven't even plugged it in yet because I haven't had time to either put the 3-phase in against the wall. And then that whole process is the plasma table's got to move. This has got to get put in. The wiring's got to put in. And I don't have time to unplug my plasma table because I need it every day.
Right.
So it's that whole maybe Christmas Day, I'll go in the shop and work.
Yeah.
And work on, no, I guess not. Man,
I'll come help you.
Amanda's saying no. So maybe not
A
Christmas
voice
Day.
from beyond said,
Maybe
"Hell
Luna's
no."
birthday or some day that isn't very important that I could get in there and just work. You know what I'm saying?
I could give you a hand, although I
wedding
might just be
anniversary.
sabotaging things secretly.
You could be. I think you're sabotaging me with that question. Now my wife's
Probably.
looking at me. You're not working those days, so we did good. What else? Dan, give me another question. Give me
Wait,
something.
no, let's see. What can we do here?
Give me another question.
What planet would you like to visit if your alien friends came to pick you up?
Well, obviously a place
You're
with
assuming he has
oxygen.
alien friends.
Yeah.
No,
Pretty
they're not
much
gonna
at
like
this
them.
point, I believe him.
I think Pluto, because I think Pluto got that bad rap that taking the name from. I'd rather go there and go, look, it is a planet, and then
You know what?
Put your flag down and name
Yeah,
it Planet Pluto.
Yeah, Planet Patsis. It has a real name now.
There's
you know what I'm
something
saying?
beyond there. I'm sure we
Yeah.
can get that slapped
It
on
would
some
just be
orbital
220
body.
plugs everywhere, UPS stores, just things that I need every day. That would be the only thing you'd have.
Yeah.
Pringles chips and some Mountain Dew or
All of a
something.
sudden, clones of you start popping up everywhere, and it's like, "Hi, I'm Tom. Hi,
and they're
I'm
all
Tom.
just
Hi,
saying
I'm Tom."
stupid stuff all the time.
And you don't even know who you are, so
Yeah.
then you just have to have a mass.
Yeah, it'd be like
This literally
Tron.
is a Chris
It'd be
It'd be
Nolan
like
movie,
Tron,
isn't it?
where my own self would turn against me and
Yeah.
try to and say, "Oh, the user is bad." And
Oh,
like,
it's Face Off. That was
yeah.
a good movie.
Or Face Off, yeah. But those are good-looking guys.
Wow. Face Off in space.
We're gonna start working on. We want to do a documentary movie. I don't know if it should give out the idea, but I guess if somebody else takes it.
So if you want to
go for it.
sponsor that, just listen to our plan and
Yes.
call us later.
Yeah, we're
after the
looking for
show.
funding. but you explain it.
All right, so it'd be the idea of, going to go find metal artists and go see them in their natural habitat and stuff like that. And I think the biggest part of it would be me and him in some Dodge product, driving down to Texas, driving down to Montana, whatever. And so it'd be part journey and then meeting somebody and going, this is, Ray
And we'd just be
Ripple,
talking shit the whole time on our
it'd be like,
drives.
hey, wouldn't it be cool if I was cooler than you? And he'd punch me and we'd be all jacked up on whatever his favorite energy drink would be at the time, and I think it could be fun because it would be
All
half
juiced up on-
exploring, half interviewing.
I'm not a
Monster
movie,
beef
movie
jerky.
executive, but you might want to sharpen that plot presentation a bit.
You think so?
Well, it's brand new.
I
so-
thought that
still
was,
working
that was
up?
the trailer.
That was
right
pretty
there.
concise,
That was
yeah,
the trailer.
I thought
You
that
know
was
what? I don't want to
concise.
speak for Hollywood. I apologize
I
for
think
that last
Gans off his
statement.
rocker on that one.
Yes, I apologize.
I mean, the thing is,
who
though,
am I to judge?
Yeah,
After
Who
all
are you
my
to judge?
after all my success in Hollywood.
So how much,
oh, here we go.
obviously, we've talked to a lot of people in this show particular. We're at FABTECH 2023, and there's a lot of husband and wife teams.
Oh.
Like, how critical is Amanda to what you? I mean, I think that you probably wouldn't exist if not for her. So
You can't do this by yourself.
No.
I mean, unless you're a billionaire, this is my
you're
joke.
still not doing it yourself.
No,
You've
I'm
got
not.
people
But I
doing
go,
it for
listen,
you.
listen. Bill Gates can't keep his wife. I'm doing a good job. My wife's still there. She's still got a smile on her face, and I only probably 50% of what he makes. So,
Exactly.
So clearly, I'm doing a good job.
It's probably the looks.
I mean, I drive like a 03 Chevy Silverado. It's a step off.
It's balling.
Yeah, it's got a leaky transfer case.
vintage
It's
now.
fine. My wife is the boss. She does the civil duties of an adult. All the emails, shipping, taxes, all the stuff that I shouldn't be attached to because would be canceled the minute. But she's a good helper. She's a very good. I could not do this by myself because I would be in my shop for 29 hours out of the day, never take a shower, probably never eat. All those
about
things
right.
that I would never. She keeps me grounded.
Have you started breaking child labor laws yet with Luna?
Oh yeah, Luna's doing all kinds of work in the shop that most adults shouldn't be doing. I mean, she doesn't. She's learned how to
She
ride
can
a
get
bike.
into those small spaces.
Yeah,
to-
I mean, yeah, she can. I mean, she can grab all that dirty stuff underneath the welder that no one wants to grab.
Yeah.
She does. She's really good at taking spark plugs out of boxes by the thousands. She knows what side to take the spark plug out to be the quickest.
Anybody know the number to CPS? Child Protective Services.
Oh, is that
for
what I
those
thought it
who-
was? Coolparents.com is what you're talking about. I don't know. That's my only answer. My wife's great, and my lawyer tells me to say that. So, yeah, she's good.
She's happy right now.
I look at it, and what's the most common thing someone says to her when they meet her after, oh, Tom, he's cool. They go, how the hell do you do it? They look at her and go, you
100%
must
of
have
the
a hell of
time.
a drinking problem. And she doesn't. She don't drink at all. She's
It's magic.
naturally
Maybe she's an
aspirated.
alien.
She has to be. She does have colored hair, so that could be something.
So
I love
has your
you.
daughter welded?
No, right now she does have her own welding helmet that I had pinstriped, so that's
Okay.
cool, and she's also got one too. But right now it's only carts that she's allowed to touch, and that makes
Gotcha.
my wife. Let me just tell you about that. Let me tell you about the most scariest thing I've ever done. I've jumped out of an airplane. I've been in a car crash. I got married. All those scary things that you can do, right? But letting my daughter drive a cart where she has control, 100% control with 50% throttle, I've never been so afraid of mine. And she did the perfect job. She did everything I told her. She did a circle, stopped, did it, and did everything right. And after they left the shop, went home, I took an hour-and-a-half nap because my internal spirit was so stressed out. I've never felt fear like that. Like, I could do public speaking in front of 10,000 people naked, and it wouldn't give me a quarter of the fear that I had that day.
Other people
But-
might have a bad day.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that might be something for other people, but I go, it was the most nerve-wracking day. So that's as far as she's got. She's a
Yeah.
little 5-year-old that knows everything. She actually knows everything. When I say
Okay.
that, I'm not gloating that she's
Right.
She will say, "Hey, that pilot Jake is flying that plane again." I'm like, "What? There's not even a plane." Oh, there's a plane, and then I know that dude's tag because she's got supervision.
Right.
Says Jack Smith or something. I'm going, she's always right. And I have never been wrong. And I'm surrounded by females. I got a dog, a cat, my wife, my daughter.
That's the car she drove around in?
Yeah, there you go. That's the one. Yeah.
Sweet.
It'll potentially do 30 miles an hour. So right now the throttle's set to
Oh.
12.
Is that a safety rated helmet?
No, that one isn't. She has her own helmet. Her helmet costs more. It's about $1,000. So her helmet costs
wow.
more than the car. But at least it looks cool because Amanda's mom June painted it for her. So, and it looks really nice. It's really cool. So it's so when she gets when she wins her second or third Indy 500, we can have that memento that your grandma painted your first helmet. So,
I like that. I'm looking at that Audi in the back.
Yeah, that's that Audi I was talking about.
What's the scoop behind that?
Yeah, that's not in my shop. That's in my buddy's shop.
Oh, I got you.
And my little buddy Christian is loaning, because when he was 5, he raced that go-kart. So it's got tradition to it. So
that's awesome.
Maybe someday we'll, that'll go to somebody else who's, whatever.
What circuit is that Audi being raced in?
What's that?
What circuit is that?
That's like that old rich dude sport where they all just get at Watkins Glen and just, I got a bigger than you, and that's my, that's my, couple $1 million race car that was raced in Le Mans in 02.
You just say it, we'll beep it out.
Okay. Race car. Race car. I said race car. I got a bigger race car than you. So yeah. We're, like I said, our whole area that we're in is race car central. Like, my old DSR drag racing work is across the street, so I look at that every day. It's kind of like bumping your old ex-girlfriend in the apartment. Go, hey, what's up, girl? And keep on going your way, because your wife's right behind you. Yeah. Stuff like that. So that's my rocking chair. Yeah. It's out of a Porsche or something. I don't know.
It's awesome.
Whatever.
So do you feel like you're missing out on other types of fabricating because you're now kind of doing all these trophies?
I mean, I do a lot of TIG and MIG. I really have no interest in stick welding, just because I know there's a lot of work that goes with that, and you're out in the field somewhere. I go, cool, sitting on my table.
Yeah.
And it's not AC. It's still hot. I mean, it still gets 90 degrees in my shop, But I just always like TIG welding because it's like, I don't know, I joke it's like the fine tip Sharpie, and then you got MIG welding. It's like a bigger marker, and then obviously for what I do and being so small, it's really the only thing. MIG welding,
great technical explanation.
MIG welding is great when you're doing 100 different trophies, but TIG welding for like the little things, it's just, I got to get small. I even got some baby torches that are really small.
No kidding.
That I got from Arcstone. They're CK stuff, and they're really the stuff that you can get into with that. It's like, I think it's meant for building headers, and when you're welding that collector together, and you got to get that part inside that's insanely small, and you can't hang your tungsten out. You use this little baby. It's like 1/4-inch diameter cup on it.
Those things I lose them. I like pick them up and drop them. Like, well, I guess I'm not using that today.
I think Darla's wearing them as earrings now.
Yeah, she's got the tiny thing.
You gotta live the lifestyle, baby. You gotta live the lifestyle.
Commit to the part.
Now mice are welding now, so they need their equipment.
Yeah. Don't forget fleas either. They got a place in this world. What else you got? Come on, don't slow down on me.
So, is it all the MIG you do? Is it short arc, or do you use pulse at all?
You'd be amazed. I look like an amateur. I got my my Miller 250. It's got like a sticker on it now.
Is it 252 or 255?
252. It's 252, and I set it at my 035, and I just go, looks like 1/8 inch. I set it that. I'm not going to be able to tell you wire speed and heat ranges and all that stuff. I just set it. 1/8 inch steel is my go-to on everything when it comes to trophies, because it's just thick enough to be heavy duty and not bend.
No, it's a good size
and it's
to
be
weld.
able to manipulate it, and it's not too heavy. And I can obviously cut it on my fast cut. So I just have one size, and then my sheet metal is like 022,000. It's really thin stuff. Again, so I can manipulate, because I don't have a lot of big equipment that you're going to see at this show. I got little stuff, and then I got a lot of custom made stuff that you can't buy. Like I have a little
tiny bead roller.
I got a little bead roller. I got a
cool.
baby English wheel that uses the wheels look like rollerblade wheels, but they're obviously old Hoosier profile wheels, and they're all different, so to do different things. And I just got some jewelry dies to get in, like to do like certain things on the side panels of cars, like all the steps in it and all the
That's
body
super
lines.
cool. I love the miniature stuff that you have, the tools actually. Usually, like, if I have an idea and I see that Tom's already done it, I'm not going to do it again. Like, it's like, all right,
I'm that way
cool.
a lot too. You did it, and you did really good. Like bead rolling, I don't do a lot of.
But those small
rolling.
tools, like, I'm like, I got to make some of them, because those are sick.
People like that. People like custom stuff because you can't buy for what kind of we do. You can't really buy. No one's going to build a little baby
brake
roller.
press.
Like, let me put this in the vise and roll like a little motorcycle fender. Ain't nobody can do it, so you have to do it. Yeah.
Where do you see your company, your family, your life in 5 years?
Ooh, that's usually my question. I always ask the 10-year question. But
5, then 10, then 15.
So I feel like I feel like I got plenty of business, and there's plenty of it out there that I don't need all of it. But I think I just like to, because now I have a daughter and I don't want to be missing all this. And yes, I control my own time but it's like, I feel like I'm kind of handcuffed myself to my work because I can't not care about it. So I do envy people that work in like factories that can go 5 o'clock, I'm out. And then you come in on Monday and you have a whole new startup. You don't have to worry about what you did last because someone else came in. So I don't have that. So my goal in 5 years is just kind of like slow it down. Like I know I can't run wide open all the time. So, you know, if Luna's helping or if I can someday maybe get an employee, I don't want to because I like doing what I do. And I tell people hiring an employee is like paying somebody to eat your lunch for you. Yeah, that too. I mean, you do have to charge more because
everything's more expensive.
Things cost more. You know, you've created a better product over time, so there's value in just almost nothing in difference. It's just like, oh, the product looks better, it's cleaner.
Yeah.
We do a lot more, so you have to do something to prevent the $10 trophies compared to the $10,000 trophies. I would just like to do a little less work and get control of my hours.
Work-life balance, man. I think
balance is everything, right?
We're horrible at it.
Yeah, no, I'm the worst. I will give every customer way too much time, and it sounds good, but I go and be that person.
It's not fair to your family.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm lucky that they're there at the shop every once in a while during the day. They come in, they go, so I do get to see them more than most people see their kids that do a 9 to 5, because usually when you get home at 5, you're tired, and then your children go to sleep, and about 3 or 4 hours later, I do get to see them all day. We go to lunch every day.
That's cool.
I just got to try to figure out how to balance.
Yeah,
balance
is your home close to the shop?
Yeah, 1.1 miles away, so it's not that far. We used to do the whole 14 miles, and I would work at Schumacher from 8 to 6, drive home 14 miles, be half tired, try to, get my butt back into the shop when I lived at home or had my shop at home. And that is a great and terrible idea at the same time, because again, you can just go out from the house, go in the shop, do nothing, and go back in the house, do nothing. And you'd be amazed how much you don't get done when convenience is too easy.
Yeah.
But when you got to go to your shop and it's at least a mile away, I'm here to work. And most of the time I do work unless I have distractions. But, it's...
I'm actually the opposite, because I have the job that, like, it's not a 9 to 5. It's whatever hours they tell me to work. I could, it's all over the place. When I didn't have the shop close to me, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Because I need that right there. But if you're doing it as a job, it's nice to have something like separate, like, okay, this is home. This is where I go do my work.
Because my new 5 p.m. is like 3 a.m. Every night always seems to be 3 a.m. Like, it's that whole Groundhog's Day. I just feel like I'm getting out of my truck. It's dead silent. There's a main road next to us, and I go, there's nobody on the road. I'm the only one. I have no traffic. And I see people sometimes when I leave at 6 a.m. to come home, like, these people are going to work and I'm just leaving. And I don't work a factory job. But that's when you work for yourself. You don't get the privilege to turn it off. Yeah. So that's the one thing I tell people, like, when you do work for yourself, you don't get to turn it off. You are handcuffed to your work all the time.
Right. There's a couple of sides to that. And I remember early on, it became the thing that everyone wanted to start their own business, and they're like, success. And then you don't hear from somebody and you're like, what happened? You go look and it's like, it failed horribly. Yeah. And for more people, it fails horribly, but it's like that thing out there that seems like the golden ticket, and they don't understand the pressure that you're under doing that. But like for me, I've been working in a factory or a shop, not of my own, since I was 18, basically. And I'm just tired of like having stringent start times, or like you waking up anywhere from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. to go into work, and been doing it for, 27 years or whatever it is now. But I've got great health insurance that I don't have to worry about. I have the 401k, whatever, all the other stuff. And I know if I stay there, I'm taken care of. And I was fine with that for a long time. But now I'm getting to the point where it's like, I want that, where my whole life is creating art again, because it's just gone to the back burner. I just don't have that right now. I know when you decided to make a go of it full time, like, or how long did it take you to become comfortable, like, okay, I can do this? Was it before you went full time, or was it after?
That's a good. So my good answer to that question is, I kind of I gave my racing job 6 months notice, like most people don't, but I want to protect my relationship with them, because if this does fail, I have no clue.
Right. Yeah.
She just told me, you fall asleep everywhere in the shop. Like, I'll be on the ground just picking up something and just fall asleep because I'm so tired. She goes, you need to pick one of these jobs or you're going to die, pretty much. And I was like, all right, let's just try it. Let's just throw the dice down and see if it works. And I gave my Schumacher racing job in the fab shop, which is an ideal job for anybody who likes building stuff. You get to build 330-mile-an-hour race cars, and you have big budgets, and you get to do all this stuff, and you get to see it on TV. It's a really fun job. And I was like, either I'm the stupidest person alive, quitting an awesome job.
Or I'm brilliant.
Or I'm brilliant, which I don't know about that. But
turns out you're neither.
But I did quit October 15th, 2015, and haven't had to. But my actual initial fear was, God, now I have to go chase my own money. You know, you don't have the convenience of a paycheck on a set day, and you know it's going to be there. And you have this much money, and you got all your bills. And for a while, I was worried about, God, this is going to be nerve-wracking. Now I'm especially through COVID and all the crazy you saw with people getting furloughed and all that, you know, necessary, not necessary, whatever. I was like, God, we were more busier in those couple years, and I'm going, I have control of my own stuff, right? Like I have control. No one's gonna tell me to stay home, and we work by myself, so it didn't really apply to us. But I go, I am more fearful now to work for somebody else and let them control my paycheck than I am me. And I become a better business person because I tell her, I go, okay, who after 30 days or whatever desired times, I go, who hasn't paid? Let me go be the hound dog. I'm gonna go sniff them out. Hey, I'm just gonna need to make sure you get that. When's that paycheck? We've never had a problem. I've never had a problem.
That's awesome.
I've become more assertive in that, and I understand how
it's
business
a difficult
works.
Thing.
And we do a lot of stuff with big corporate companies, and I understand net 30, net 60, and everybody usually works out pretty fair. And we stagger all the jobs, obviously, so a paycheck will come in next week and this and that. And sometimes it gets tight, but sometimes we go, okay, I got this coming in and that. So the business side of it used to make me fearful, but now I go, okay, now like I've said, I'm in my lane. I have control. My mindset is set on how to do things, how people like stuff, how people are going to pay. And you've experienced a little bit of everything going, all right, I got this. So now I feel nervous. I'd feel nervous working for somebody else than I do controlling my own. It's weird that it switched.
I get it.
Since you never quit Schumacher, if you decided you didn't want to do the cold hard art anymore, can you just like walk into Schumacher one day and start working like nothing happened?
Well, the ironic part about that is Schumacher's business plan has changed. So now they are a machine shop that does rent out the bays that their own teams used to have. They rent those out to other race teams because of the equipment that they offer in their shop and the facility. Every NHRA team has 2 rigs because they have so much stuff that they bring to these races. So now they have this nice indoor, park the trucks, and they have the pit spaces inside the thing. So there really isn't the same business that was there when I quit. And they've just turned into now, like, they machine stuff for the military
parts,
and all this stuff.
So
and
for a long time, you just go back there when they needed a hand every now and then.
Yeah, when they wrecked a lot of race cars, or, well, hey, man, we need someone who knows what to do without having to tell them, and they don't have to even, hey, build a front half, build a chassis, put a body together, and all the things, build some headers, and all the stuff that you would do. I could just go in there. I could still go in there because the sport hasn't changed enough where I wouldn't be able to adapt the few little micro adjustments. But I go in, even my friends, those ones that were in the shop have their own business now. Yeah. And they build race cars. So, it's not the same layout that it used to be, but for what I have experienced in my racing career, I could go work for my friends if I needed to, or I really could go back to Schumacher, probably run a machine or work in their fab shop that builds not as many race cars because they don't have the race teams, but they still make race cars. So there's still a place for me somewhere. If I said, you know what, this art thing is stupid, I'm out.
Yeah, building skills travel.
Well, when you have the skills and you have the ability, you're not going to have a hard time finding a job. It might not be a deal at first, but
there are not too many welders out there having discussion about artificial intelligence replacing them.
Yeah.
Unlike editors.
No, but I'm scared. We were talking about that before the show. Like, AI is freaking scary as shit, man. Like,
I just think it's just in the wrong hand. That's the fear.
That's the scary part.
No doubt.
I think sometimes people are on the cutting edge. They don't think about, actually, this is what I'm writing for with the welder right now. I think part 1 is out in this current issue. The fear is that you push ahead without looking backwards. So like any safety is reactive. So what happens when you go out just a little bit too far and now you can't shut the thing off? Like we were talking about.
One keystroke away from the world
drone
getting nuked. Yeah.
I mean, we've had that with nuclear for a long time. Just the wrong person with the itchy finger and we could all be gone.
Well, think about the stories of like the one guy that didn't obey. I think there's a story of like the Soviet guy back in the day who got a command to like push a button.
And he did. And the crew guy, I mean, that's submarines. They were.
Yeah. He's like, what?
Yeah, there's a World War I's going on, or 2 or whatever the heck it was at the time. And the crew guy was like, dude, I don't think that was a clear call. You probably don't need to push that button and send that nuke up there. And he didn't. Yeah. And it was obviously still war. But I remember, and then in North Carolina, they dropped one of the Titan missiles. It was not a Titan missile, but it was another. They dropped it, and 2 of them fell out of the plane because someone pressed the wrong button on the plane, and over in North Carolina, and I even have it located on my GPS where it's at, and it's just in a field where they don't mow the grass because it's buried too far in the mud, and they go, we don't know how compromised this bomb is, and it was a nuclear bomb. They got one of them, and they took it home. They go, yeah, just don't mow in that area. The government owns this little fenced-off area. Going, that's how close it is, and that's
North Carolina. That's not the first time something like that happened in North Carolina, because the Command and Control documentary, if you've seen that,
with in Arkansas, that was in Arkansas.
Was Arkansas where they dropped the socket and it hits the fuselage, and then it was a comedy of errors, not a comedy because people died, but it was a bad situation. And then they found the nuclear warhead like in a field in a ditch like 2 days later, undetonated.
Because electric fan turned on, it ignited all the fuel when they were trying to stop this. But the socket's what fractured the missile.
They had a new style of socket with a lock on it, but they forgot it in their truck. So they're like, we'll just use our old school tools, which was like a big torque wrench with like a 6 to 8 pound socket. I can't remember how big it was. And they're 21-year-old kids, and it fell, and they're like, oh, shoot, what do we do now? And it nicked the fuselage. The missile sits on top of the fuselage, so it's actually structural. So once it started leaking out pressure, everything collapsed. And they were so late, and they were trying to coordinate with Washington, D.C., and people were out at parties, and, like, it was such a miserable, like, they almost took out the Eastern Seaboard. Like with AI, you got one guy who's like, you know what? Let's just take this safety off right here, and it's over. Like, and you've got
someone's going to try to exploit it for money.
Well,
to
either
maximize
money
profit.
or like you get into some of these people who are like, I just want to. I don't know, I'd say stroking your own ego, but like you get to a point you're like, I can do this, so I'm going to do it, whether it's good for humanity or not. Let's see what happens.
How many things have been made on that idea of going, we don't really need it, but I've seen it in a movie. Let's make this machine that peels bananas. Like, you're like, we don't even need that because my hands work. No, I want to make it because I can. And sometimes you shouldn't. There's some things you shouldn't build, you know?
I think we've all learned that with chimpanzees. You don't want to mess with those people.
I mean, think about AI. It's like we're doing it to do things for us. But at what point do we almost make humans obsolete?
Exactly.
And the idea of going, what about us living our life? Well, we don't need you to live your life anymore. We got a robot to do that. Going,
you better have like
that makes no
basic, the global basic income or whatever they've talked about. Like
universal
or it's going to turn into frickin' Wall-E, where we're up in a spaceship just sitting on chairs drinking milkshakes all day. Which is going to seem cool, and then you realize, like, I'm not even alive anymore.
Have you been watching me on weekends?
Yeah, I think.
We're just writing, Black Mirror episodes right now.
No, it's one of the other interesting aspects is when this started coming out, and it wasn't like necessarily AI, but it was just robotics kind of taking over, like restaurants. Oh, you want to make $15 an hour? We'll have a robot do it. And those same guys that are chiding those people, their jobs are now gone because it didn't come after blue-collar jobs. It's going after white-collar jobs. Like Darla's uncle just retired. He was an international banker, like pretty high up. And he was saying that in the last year how much AI has changed his business just from a lawyer standpoint. Like they would have to have 100 lawyers going through a book like 6 inches thick. And now they can have AI just go through it, write a quick report, have a couple of lawyers double check everything and send it out. But that's taken, hundreds of like those jobs, writing jobs now are. I keep getting ads like, "Hey, you want AI to do your work?" And like, no, I want to write it.
Wait,
Josh didn't even go on that rant. That was all AI.
Well, he did just say this was 6 inches, so good for you. Good for you, man. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. I
gotta.
When you hear like all this talk about robotic welders and all this other stuff coming in to do the kind of basic welding, how do you take that as somebody that actually has worked at their craft for many years?
That's a good question. For me, I don't really worry about it because it's like obviously art is something a robot probably won't be exploited
do you feel like
to
they're
do.
kind of like undercutting what's necessary?
I mean, I feel
to be a welder.
Well,
I think one of the things we see in the industry is that they yearn for anybody to be in their factories, but at the same time, they want people to be able to work in teams, report, make critical decisions on the shop floor.
They want the best people, but they don't want the best people because they don't want to pay them. And
that is the kind of the dichotomy that exists.
Yeah, it's like you want the best people, but you don't want to pay for it. And it's like the people of your company are what make your company. Yeah. If you went to any business, you're going to a pizza store and go, all right, guys, you're all fired, but we need to keep selling pizza. I'm going, yeah.
Right.
How are you going to do that?
The pizza robot.
So, I mean, I understand that, I understand that you got to save money in places, but saving money on the people
Yeah.
is the wrong way. Do you really need all these beautiful tiles in your thing? Do you really need a glass front lobby? Do you really need all? I mean, I know the selling presentation thing really
Right.
gets, but I would love to go to a race shop that is just a shop that doesn't have marble floor. Like you go to Penske and it is tile, everything is really nice.
Yeah.
But I'm going, how much of that money could you have stopped? Just went with a black laminate floor, race cars, and all the tools you need, and just pay the people where they go, man, I feel rich and I work on a race car. I'm proud.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really that hard to think about. The people are the best tool of any business. You can have the greatest robot in the world,
Right.
but honestly, someone still has to program it. But wouldn't it be great to go talk to someone and go, hey, man, could you just weld that a little better? Okay, I'll get on it. Well, you got to pay someone to program it and hope to God and then do it 50,000 times.
Right.
Great. I'm all about humans. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I like Terminator 2. I get it. I mean, maybe I'm afraid of robots, but I like humans working and like, I'm not going to have robots in my shop,
Right.
So, I mean, yes, I have a plasma table to cut stuff out. So maybe I'm
There
going
you
the
go.
wrong way with that.
I
Yeah.
for one, welcome our robot overlords, but that's
So-
just me.
But I mean, that robot is still only doing what I'm telling it. So it is still something.
So
but
the
for
counter
now-
argument for a lot of
a
for
hard
a lot of
argument.
these shops is that the robots are coming in for jobs they can't find people to do
That's
anyway.
a lame excuse.
But in a way, though, they're
They can't find people to work for what they want to pay for, so they'd rather invest hundreds of thousands into a machine than. I mean, they've looked at labor as a fixed cost for so long because they were so used to us just shutting up and taking it.
right.
What is the thing that you've done in your career that you're most proud of?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Say Luna.
You know what? Hold on. I think the winning the Metal Shop Masters
Yeah.
thing is
Oh, wow.
probably my favorite thing because I make the joke all the time. Metal art is not a competition, and I
then
get
you
this
were in
direct
a-
message on Instagram. Hey, you want to be at a show? I'm like, whatever. No, this is real. Okay, I'll give you 2 seconds of my time, and it turns into something real, and then it turns into a Netflix thing, and it's on Netflix now, and. I'm one of those people that doesn't win anything, right? I've been on race
you're a
teams.
loser.
Yeah, absolutely. I do not win. I could buy 10 million lottery tickets out of 10 million and one and buy every wrong one, right?
Yeah.
And so for
I
me
believe
to
it.
actually get in something that I'm okay at, and I've been on race teams, we've won races, but it's not been a me thing, right? It's a team thing, right? So to actually do a metal art competition and get to build art, and that's the competition, and turn out to win a very simple trophy. But I go, oh God, it builds trophies.
Did
And
you
I
make
don't-
your own trophy?
No, they wind up building it 2 days before the thing. But I mean, it's a very simple trophy, but it means more than anything I've
Yeah.
ever built because I actually won it, and I've
You
never
won
won
it?
any. I won
And-
that ugliest motorcycle, and there was 2 motorcycles there. I go, that was cool, right? So that was my sorry.
It's an
second
award.
trophy. It is an award, we'll call it, but this is my first real trophy. So to me, I guess that's my most prideful thing, and the one that made that really fun is that my hometown Ellsworth American newspaper, obviously my town in Ellsworth, Maine.
Did they give you a key to the city?
No, they didn't get. No,
Oh.
I wouldn't want that debt. But they put me on their cover of their newspaper, and
That's
I go,
awesome.
my brother used to work there back in the '80s, and I go, it's really cool now. I'm on the cover. That's like the one newspaper I thought was really cool.
That's awesome.
That's my hometown, 2,500 miles away.
That's awesome.
It has. So that was my fun.
How many
moment.
copies of that newspaper did you get?
4.
Four.
4. I got 4. And
I thought you were gonna say
and
400.
I spilled like 1,000 drinks on it, so it looks like it's from the Titanic. It's terrible. So that would be my most, because that was a couple pieces of art, obviously, to try to win that, and that was really
And
fun.
it was stiff competition. Like
Yeah,
that.
they were all. Yeah, it was
they're
really
awesome.
It was not. It was no easy victory. It was everybody
Yeah.
was just like, basically your goal was just to not be the last one. And I go, that's still asking a lot of men.
I mean, I saw who was on there, and then I was shocked that you won. So
Yeah, I don't know what.
There's still comments were like, Ivan should have won.
No, there is a lot. There is a lot of that, and I go, I'm not down on
Yeah.
anybody. I go, you can think what you want, but I do have a
Nice of
trophy.
you to bring that up, Garrett.
No, I like it. I like it. That's ambush.
Gee,
What is it?
you know what?
Ambush.
You should have let Josh bring that up.
journalism
This
right
isn't
there.
your role. That's Josh's role.
He'd be cool if he said,
I'm
Ivan
saying it as
should
a
have
joke,
won
and he's
that.
like dead serious. Like
By,
Ivan should have won.
by
Ivan
other
should've
people,
won.
I meant. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But I love
Many
Ivan.
people
Ivan
are
is
saying.
he's got a beautiful voice, great art, great
He's
mind.
dreamy.
He's just a Michigan guy, yeah. Whatever. So my wife over there, last thing,
Indianapolis.
she's a Buckeye, so she
Ooh.
in her DNA automatically hates you.
I get it.
I mean, it's just and you don't like. And,
I like Amanda.
you know,
Some of my best friends are from Ohio. They have that one fault, and it's
yeah. That they
Buckeye
have
thing.
Toledo and you don't?
That they live in Ohio.
Is that
Yep.
what the whole
or
thing
Lima.
is?
I mean, Lima's a beautiful place to visit.
It's okay. They got a tank plant there, but who really cares about
Who cares
that?
about tanks?
Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us
What are
on
they,
this episode
freedom?
of Big Ten Football Talk.
Tanks and freedom.
We'll talk
That's-
real football in the next episode about the SEC. Thank you, Tom. It's been a experience.
Let's never do this again.
Josh, you've given us quite a lot to work on.
Yeah.
And edit out.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh, for showing up on this one.
Tom, where can we find out more information about you on the internet?
You can go on coldheart.com. I'm obviously on Instagram, what is formerly known as Twitter, X, Facebook, all that, all this, every social media. We've obviously tried
Cold
to.
Heart?
Yeah, Cold Heart Art. Yeah.
Art.
Yeah. So it's not hard to find us.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. It's been fun. Josh, thank you for guest hosting today. We
Absolutely.
appreciate
Oh, he was main host. He's in the middle chair, right?
it. Yeah.
Thanks for co-hosting with me, Dan.
Go ahead. Why don't you
for
tell
guest
me,
hosting with me,
tell-
Dan.
If you're the main host, obviously you must know the email where people can
Yeah.
send in
Absolutely.
suggestions.
It's josh@browningdogwelding.com, and I will forward them all to the fabricator for you.
All right, he got me on that one. Let's see. Podcast at mfamfg.org.
MFA.
FMA?
FMA.
What'd I say?
MFA.
MFG. I thought you were saying F.
All right, podcast at fmamfg.org.
Yeah.
All right, that should do it. Remember, the truth is out there. Goodbye.
The Fabricator Podcast is a production of Fabricators and Manufacturers Association, located in Elgin, Illinois. The show is hosted by Dan Davis and the staff of FMA Communications. The podcast is produced by Gareth Slager and recorded and edited with the help of Brandon Geyer. Sales support provided by Andy Flando. Additional production support by Elizabeth Gavin, Dana Weicker, Mary Diamond, Mike Owens, and me, Sarah Spring. Thank you for listening.